Hey, what's up, man? I can't sleep. It's 2:30 in the morning. Anyways, just more bullshit. I just use. Well, I'm not very social because when you start to understand how many people are just straight up sheeple, and also, man, I'll tell you what, man. I just watched that movie Threads. It's just like, it's almost like a documentary. It's probably the most accurate depiction of a nuclear fallout, like post-apocalyptic nightmare shit. What it would be like if a nuclear thing went off. And if you're interested in watching it, how I got tipped off to that was Critical Drinker. I just went to Critical Drinker to see if he's put anything out lately, and that was one of the most recent movie reviews he did. But it's on his. He has two channels, and it's not on his main channel. It's on his other one. Now he does. The way Critical Drinker has kind of changed up his format, so he has his main channel, which he doesn't put out as many movie reviews because he's running two channels now. And his second channel, it's called After Hours, Critical Drinker After Hours. But anyways, so on his After Hours channel, he does like some kind of commentary thing with like live commentary with 3 or 4 other people. I don't really watch that. I'm not into it. But he does he does reviews and posts them on his After Hours channel. So I'm still kind of getting used to that and trying to how to navigate that. But anyways, he did a movie review on Threads, and it's on the Critical Drinker After Hours. And I watched the movie review, and he gave it a good review, and it's basically like a documentary style movie that was put out by the UK or something. In the UK, it came out of the UK, and it's about like what would happen in a nuclear fallout, and it was done really well. It involves Iran and Russia and the U.S., and which is really interesting because that's pretty much what would set off what potentially will set off World War III, is because Israel is threats to Iran is what is kind of appears as though forcing Russia to get involved, because Russia and Iran are allies, and I believe Russia gets probably a lot of oil from Iran or something, and so Israel attacking Iran is inadvertently attacking Russia, and this has been known for a while. Like, they were talking about this 2 or 3 months ago. That was the big deal. Like 2 or 3 months ago, the big deal was if this doesn't settle between Israel and Palestine. Palestine is an ally of Iran, and so Iran is going to start defending Palestine. And so if Iran gets sucked into this conflict, and then Israel starts, attacking Iran because Iran is defending Palestine, well, that's going to force Russia. And once Russia gets forced in, that's when it's going to become, like on the cusp of a fucking nuclear war and shit. It's gonna be bad. It's gonna get bad. That's what the whole deal was like 2 or 3 months ago. So now that has happened. In the last I think even just 2 weeks is when Russia finally announced that Russia's gonna fuck them up. If they fuck with Iran, Russia's gonna and interestingly enough, this movie Threads came out like 40 fucking years ago, 30 or 40 years ago. And Critical Drinkers, his review of the movie Threads is correct. It's a well done movie, and it really gives a good, accurate depiction of what it would be like. And so if you want to watch it, all I did was go to the BitChute search engine, and I just typed in Threads, and there it was. It's like, it's right in the first 10, the top 10 things that come up when you search Threads in BitChute is the movie Threads. And I watched it. It's crazy, dude. I would like to talk about that because because honestly, like, it's already so close to that, and really, like, it's already been really bad, dude. Like, I think things have been a lot worse than people realize, and for the last 40, 50 years. And the desperation and everything that is depicted in the movie Threads, I mean, we already see that all the time. It's like, that's what's already going on now, in a lot of ways. So it's anyways, I forgot why I was even talking about Threads. But anyways, I was laughing because I was watching this video of this guy, and he seems decent, but he's a It's the Jays person, and I'm not, there's way too much negative, like 90% of the It's the Jays is a bunch of crazy sheeple. They're just sheeple that they'll do anything. They'll do and say anything, which is dangerous. Like, you have a mob of these massive mob of sheeple, stupid sheeple, who will do anything and believe anything and say anything. Well, yeah, you're gonna have some serious problems, and especially when they're jumping on board this It's the Jays thing. Like that's not gonna end well, and so, it's too bad. It's really too bad, and it's just a ridiculous circus show. That was my last video I posted earlier today, was about the It's the Jays thing again. Well, I mean, you can't avoid it. That's what you go onto a platform that isn't censored, and you're gonna have a bunch of piles of sheeple just parroting, like a Pavlovian parrot, parroting their for a cracker. The Pavlovian parrot will parrot anything for a cracker. They just want that cracker. So you got mobs of Pavlovian parrots all over in the comment sections on BitChute, and like I said, I think the vast majority of them is just paid ADL bots and paid ADL troll farms and stuff, because the ADL is known for that. They create. It's what do they call that? Problem, reaction, solution. They create the facade. It's a false flag. It's a total false flag. ADL is known for that. They put out the false flag that there's this big problem with these It's the Jays people, when it's the ADL that created the whole illusion so that they can justify their existence and get more federal money and all this other stuff. Because that's the way all those programs work. It's all federally funded, and all this do-gooder social justice bullshit. But anyways, I know dude, you don't even know. I've seen behind the scenes the way all that works, man. But anyways, so, and this guy, he seems kind of decent, but I don't know. He's old. He's stuck and set in his ways, and so he ain't budging on nothing, no matter what. And that's okay, whatever. But he was going off on this tangent about, and for 20 minutes, talking about how people that are on the internet should be telling everyone that their full name, their address, and everything. And anybody that isn't putting out their full name and their full address and just telling just putting it out all over the internet, their full name, full address, everything. Anybody that doesn't do that is stupid, It's the same logic as everybody that votes is stupid. Like these ideas are ridiculous. And so he's going on and on for like 15, 20 minutes, this nonstop lecture of how every single person that isn't putting out their name and their address on their social media platforms is stupid and shouldn't be trusted, and and that we should go after them. We need to start up a witch hunt and go after all these people that aren't putting their names and their faces and their addresses on their social media platform. It's like see, and that's the other thing with these It's the Jays people. They want to always their whole logic. It's a failed logic, and their failed logic is based on fight fire with fire. They don't like that the government is invading their privacy, and so their solution is to invade as many people's privacy as they possibly can. These are the kinds of always their logic. It's always the same, always the same. I mean, they're just the most unhinged, and the It's the Jays people are definitely the most likely people to engage in friendly fire. Like, they're so freaking paranoid. They're anything that moves, they're gonna shoot at it, kind of shit like that. And yeah, talk about friendly fire, and so like things like friendly fire and stuff, that's not gonna help. You're just gonna be shooting your allies, because you're so delusional and insane that you don't even care about anything, and so yeah, so these kind of people, they're so the Jays have caused it to where now they're spying on us through our phones, and they're spying on us through our televisions, they're spying on us through our microwaves, they're spying on us through our coffee pots. And so the only way to combat it is just to start spying on any and everyone else. So I'm going to invest all this money into these computer programs and just start trying to hack into other people's just anybody. It doesn't even matter who it is. Just anybody that I think might somehow be involved with the Jays. I'm gonna hack. I'm gonna invest into this big hacking program and have these big hacking programs on my computer, all this stuff, and just start doxing any and everybody, because I need to know who's who, because it's the Jays, and see, and it justifies it. What would justify somebody doing something like that? Oh, it's the Jays. That's what justifies it. See, the fight fire with fire. Everything is just do unto them. Eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind, right? And the one-eyed man king. The one-eyed man is king, and that's the whole point. A big part of the whole point of It's the Jays. It's like a prison yard mentality where one or two guys in the prison want to be the leader of the biggest prison gang, and so these are all the tactics they use. Eye for an eye. As long as they get to keep one of their eyes, then the one-eyed man, because the one-eyed man is king. So send out all the minions to fight fire with fire and eye for an eye. Meanwhile, the leader of it. It's all the same thing as the the globalist agenda. How do you fight the globalist agenda? Oh, that's easy. Just become a globalist. Why? Well, because it's the Jays, don't you know? Yeah. How do you fight the New World Order? Oh, just become the New World Order. Why? Well, because it's the Jays, don't you know? It's the Jays that are doing the New World Order. That's what justifies fighting fire with fire, because it's the Jays. Like, it's the Jays, it's the Jays, it's everything. Everything is just nonsense. It's the Jays, it's the Jays. You can just justify practically any behavior you want. Why? Because it's the Jays. Don't you know it's the Jays? So, until they get that taken care of, then It's the Jays argument is just gonna fail. no matter how potentially true the argument may be, it's never going to work when 90% of your base are a bunch of sheeple that are just like, it's the Jays, it's the Jays, it's the Jays. They just want their 10 likes on their BitChute comment, you know. So yeah, so nobody's going to pay any attention except for sheeple. I mean, if that's what if that's what you want to populate your movement is all the sheeple. Well, I mean, that's one tactic, I guess you could try. I don't think that's going to work. I think it's going to fail miserably. Personally, I'm not going to be participating in it. I stay as far away from sheeple as I can myself. But if you want to be surrounded by mobs of sheeple that they care more about getting 10 likes on a BitChute comment than than what's actually going on in the real world, well, go ahead, build up your army, man. Never underestimate the power of a large group of stupid people. But if your army is a large group of stupid people, well, be careful, because if you underestimate them, they might take over your movement, and then it'll be led by the sheeple with the one eye, the one-eyed sheeple. It's the Jays, it's the Jays, it's the Jays. No, I don't see any success. I don't see any prospects. I don't see that going anywhere. But they're very confident that this is what everything is about. Hey, I already admitted. I mean, there's the potential that it's true, but it's so ridiculous. It's such a circus right now that only a sheeple would take it seriously at all, ever. I'm sorry, It's just like anything. It's just like anything. It could be, the Bible could be true. But if you got like 90% of the people following the Bible and they're just a bunch of, lunatics and stuff, well, even though the Bible might be true, it's going to be really hard to take it seriously when 90% of your base of followers are all a bunch of insane, clinically retarded fucking sheeple. Well, you're going to have a hard time getting people buying into that, no matter how true it is. That's the problem with trends and fashion and trends and popularity. Once you get mobs of sheeple jumping on that trend, well, you just there goes any potential chance of it gaining any real traction with like someone who has half of the brain. It's just going to attract a bunch of sheeple. That's why it's probably best that one never really trust any trend or fashion, is because once something starts to get trendy, well, then all the sheeple just populate the base. The base of that trend is all a bunch of sheeple, and who wants to hang out with sheeple? No one, except for other sheeple. So yeah, people try to justify that it's the Jays trend, like, well, the only reason it's popular is because people are starting to wake up. Keep popping them white pills, man. Keep mainlining that hopium, bro. Fuck. That the truth is popular, that's the most hilarious joke. Anybody that ever believes that the truth is popular has still got some living to do. You still got some living to do. That's not the way any of this works. Anything that's trending is not truth. It's a half truth at best. And that's why people will insist, oh, it's true, because they're looking at the half truth. They're not looking at the other half that isn't true. A half truth is a fucking lie, dude. And trends are always at best half truths. And then the people that follow the trends are always looking at only the half of it that's true. And then they're saying, well, it's true. That's the reason it's become so popular and trendy. Wow, it's like, dude, man. I have a feeling the majority of these people with this kind of logic, they're the Zoomers and the millennials that they just have living yet to live, dude. They just haven't lived enough. They just haven't figured all this out yet, and this is the way these things go. You know? Anyways, enough rambling, I guess. Even though I could go on and on.